So I'm currently playing through Final Fantasy XIV, and I've recently just got to Stormblood, which is considered the worst expansion so far, but overall I'm still really enjoying the experience. But there's some folk out there who unfortunately did not enjoy their Final Fantasy XIV experience. So anyway guys, I'm Jordy, and in this video I'm going to go through some of the negative reviews that Final Fantasy XIV has received. We're going to go through the Steam reviews, and then we're going to go on to the Google reviews, so let's get into the first one. I'm sure they're going to be filled with very constructive criticism of the game. A catboy licked me in Limsa. We're off to a good start. You already know the game's great, so here's a downvote for the clumsy, unwieldy, positively archaic launcher, registration and mod station. Learn to 21st century, Square Enix. Okay, this guy's got 22,000 hours on the game. Bought the game 2 years ago. Forgot I had it running in the background along the way. Game sucks. You need to turn your PC off, dude. It's not good for it, mate. It's not good for it. Played a little, couldn't get into it. 4,000 hours played. Steam reviews in a nutshell, man. Tried to refund. They said I had too much time played. Hardly. 18,000 hours played. If you like stuff like top of that NPC, then come back to me. Or kill 10 turtles from the abyss and then come back to me. Or bring me 25 stones of and then come back to me. Then you'll love this game. Well, that's kind of MMOs in a nutshell. I know Final Fantasy XIV does try and, you know, put more story into it, but obviously it still does have a lot of quests like that. But yeah, it's an MMO. I mean, that's part of the course with quests like that. The account registration is hard. You're going to see a lot of reviews like this where it's just people talking about how the account registration's hard, mod station's an absolute piece of shit, and I 100% agree with them. I've never seen a game that made it so friggin' hard to set up an account and get logged in. Yeah, I didn't have too much hassle creating an account, but I can clearly see where it could be difficult to make one. Registration is a nightmare. Sat over an hour trying different emails, passwords, made several accounts, but nothing works. Can't log in at all. My game code is not even the same as they asked for. 55 levels in and I still haven't met this Cloud guy. 0 out of 10. This game ruined my life in a bad way. Well, Rin, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you're doing well now. Arrive at the massive final dungeon, the culmination of 50 hours worth of exploration, semi-okay story and drama. Realize that you're the only one there for the story. Get yelled at for actually watching the cutscenes of the final dungeon while everyone is there for the 76th time. Skips the cinematics and speed rush past enemies to beat the boss after boss at record pace. Game bugs out due to not being able to cope with you following the story while the others just beat the boss after boss. So halfway through the final cinematic, the game boots you out of the dungeon and the cinematic, and gives you a giant thumbs up for having won the game. I still have no idea what the fuck happened in the final dungeon, or what the point of it all was, but the game desperately wants me to continue the story in the DLC areas. Thanks but no thanks. I'll stick to single player from now on. Yeah, that's unfortunate if he ended up in a dungeon where people just stormed ahead. But if he's talking about A Realm Reborn and he's like on the Praetorium, then you can't skip the cutscenes for that. Well, then again, this review is from 2018, so maybe you could, and then they changed it so you can't skip it anymore to fix this issue. Other than that, like, he seems like he thought the story was alright, nothing too amazing. False advertisement. You have to subscribe for £8 a month after 30 days. Do not buy. Yeah, the Steam version gives you 30 days free time, and then you have to actually pay for it if you get the Steam version. To get the actual free trial where you get Realm Reborn Heavensward, you have to use Square Enix's version on the mod station. So yeah, I kind of fell into that hole myself because I swapped over to the Steam version because I wanted to see how many hours I'd played of the game, and yeah, this happened to me as well. But at that point I was already committed to the game, so I was fine with actually playing the £8 a month. But yeah, I can see why this person might be annoyed. The game is fantastic, but part of why I got it was the advertisement that free to play until level 60, and when you buy it from Steam you do not get that. Go to Final Fantasy XIV's website and get the free trial there if you actually want the advertised experience. It took one of my best friends away from me. Oh, I feel bad. It's the glamour, wasn't it? It's the glamour. Okay, so that was the Steam reviews. A lot of them were kind of like jokey, you know, like, oh, the catboy leapt to me in Limsa and all that. But other than that, the main gripe a lot of people had was just the registration process and the fact that Steam, you have to actually pay after 30 days. So hopefully now with these Google reviews, we'll actually get some more constructive criticism about the game itself. I hope everyone that works and worked on this project rots in hell. Can I get up? Help. So basically, this guy had trouble getting registered for an account, and it looks like the system just didn't give him one, but telling the developers to rot in hell was a bit harsh, dude. Oh, Jesus fuck. Here's an absolute Bible of a review. I'm not going to go through the full thing, I'm just going to point out some bits of it. Playing with others. Unless you're playing on the curve, you'll be playing solo for 100 hours to reach the final content. I mean, yeah, running through just doing the general level up, like doing MSQ, can understand that, but you do plenty of dungeons in that as you go along, and obviously you'll be playing with players there. Yeah, I know most of the time when you get into dungeons with people, you just play the dungeon, then you say GG, thank you, and then you leave, and then you never speak to them again, but the chance is there to, you know, make pals, so it's not a totally solo effort. And obviously when you get to the end of Realm Reborn, you have to group up with people to do the raids and stuff to get through to Heavensward. Oh, speaking of raid content. Raid content. Okay, so you're gonna have to do all these dungeons and raids to test out your rotation. Well, too bad. Everyone queuing will be levels higher than you. You've done all this content 90 times. They're done waiting to collect their XP reward. They just run and spam and spam. I mean, this might be another case of the person's complaining that people just rush ahead and do bosses. Apart from the very first time I did a dungeon, every other time I've did a dungeon that I've never seen before, everyone has always waited. I think honestly it's just luck of the draw, and unfortunately this person got unlucky. I doubt it happened to him every single time we did a dungeon. It probably happened once or twice at most. Transmogging gear. This game suffers painfully from item level and 4 stats to customize your character. Item level is a gear score that every piece of gear is attached to. It will tell you, hey, this piece of gear is 4 levels higher than the piece of gear, unless it's inherently better. Where's the roleplay here? You'll be identical to the next warrior and the one after that. Okay, gonna just absolutely disagree with that. I mean, this review was 3 years ago, so maybe it wasn't as, the glam system wasn't as good as it is now, but honestly, I never see the same person running around in this game. Everyone looks different, everyone has their own style and all that. As far as the stats go, unless like you're proper like min-maxing your gear, like I just hit the recommended gear button, and then I just use the gear that the game says, hey, this is good for your class, or your job, and I'm just like, okay, fair enough. But yeah, I don't agree with everyone looks the same. PvP, lol, don't waste your time. PvP in this game was pushed aside so hard that only they did to compress your kit for balance. They didn't even bother to give every class a playable PvP kit. I'm not the most experienced with PvP, but obviously I know where it's coming from, where he says every class has it like streamed down. I actually prefer the PvP to be a bit streamlined, because it's just like, right, you're too busy focusing on the other players in that, and rather than focusing on your rotation, just everything's very simplified. But yeah, once again, I'm not a PvP expert in this game, so yeah. How can anybody seriously play this game and think it's amazing? I've been recommended this game by multiple people saying how good the plot is, and as far as I understood, they meant late game combat as well. But before I get to that point, even I have to spend God knows how many hours wasting my time in the mess that is low level content. Pressing and max 4 buttons with barely interesting complicated timings and patterns, god-awful story that is mostly unvoiced, running from one end of the desert to another. This game is a joke unless you buy it fully, I guess. But even then, you would have to be bored by monotonous gameplay, uninspired dialogues, and just plain and simple bad graphics. We'd give it 0 out of 5, but no option like that exists, sadly. Drops mic. Okay, once again, this is just what happens when you start an MMO and obviously you're a low level. You're gonna have barely any moves, and it's gonna be a lot of, yeah, running back and forth doing fetch questy stuff. Like that is just part of the course for MMOs. The story though, Realm Reborn, yeah, it does have its low moments, so I do give it that, but obviously as the story goes on, it gets much better. This is a horrible game. The story is lacking in so many aspects that it's more worthwhile to just skip every cutscene. Okay, already immediately I'm like that, nah, this review ain't that, chief. This review ain't that. There's also a child class you can start out with. It's absolutely disgusting and unnecessary the way people sexualize this child character. Okay, he's talking about the Lalafels. I've never seen any point in the story anyone sexualizing the Lalafels. They're just another race in the game. Now the Makotis on the other hand. But yeah, the fact that this guy says he skipped all the cutscenes and that, just, yeah, nah. Pretty trash review, dude. I can log in on my phone but not my PlayStation 5. It says suspicious activity even though I put in the right password and only once. It just locked my account. Customer service is a complete and utterly useless. I bought the complete edition for $150 and I can't do anything. It's complete garbage. Yeah, once again, this is just another case of Square Enix's weird account registry MOG station system just being bad, and the customer service I've heard don't have a phone line. You have to email them and all that, and obviously you have to go through a chain of emails to try and talk to them. Yeah, this is an absolutely valid review, but it's more a review of the infrastructure of Square Enix and Final Fantasy XIV, not the actual game itself. My review is as a new player that just started playing the game, trying my hardest to get into the game since it's known to be the best MMORPG, but in my opinion it's far from it. The combat is horrible, and anyone that gives the combat a perfect review clearly has not played other MMO games. You literally stand still, cast your move, and wait for the meter to fill before the cast. If you get attacked or accidentally move your character, the move is interrupted and you have to do it again. Can we take a guess what class this person's playing as? When dodging an attack, you just walk out of the AoE. No running or roll dodging or blocking as far as I know. Some people told me it picks up later, but yet to see it. I mean, yeah, at the start it's very telegraphed AoE attacks that are, they're just there to obviously teach you to move out the road of it. Obviously when you get into later like dungeons and raids and stuff like that, when the AoE comes out, you'll have very little time to get out of it. So, you know, it does pick up. When it comes to the story, it's hard to enjoy because you have to walk so long to places that I just skip the cutscenes. Okay. You had some valid criticisms earlier, but you've lost me when you say you skip the cutscenes, dude. Just because you've got to travel a bit. Painfully slow, very counterintuitive controls, PS4. The game looks cool and I can probably tell it's a lot of fun on a PC, but with a console controller it's just painfully not fun. Trying to find where to go for a quest, jumping in between the map and back to the game is just not a very good experience on the console. If any of you guys out there who are console players or controller players, can you let me know in the comments, because I'm not really too sure about this. I have seen like obviously footage of people playing on a PlayStation and all that with the PlayStation UI, and it does look a bit squashed, like there's not much to it, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm not an expert with it, so if anyone can let me know how it is, then please let me know. It's a good game, it's fun. The one thing that's inexcusable is the lazy cheating AI and everything from Triple Triad cover. You tell them, Jack. You tell them. They're absolute cheating Alright, well that's all the reviews that I could find that caught my eye. There's a ton more, and if you want to go through them, then feel free. Go to the Steam page, go to the Google reviews, and obviously go to the 1-star reviews or whatever and have a look yourself. Most of them I don't really agree with. Most of them are like people complaining about the Steam version, like not giving you the full free trial. You have to pay after it, and obviously the MOG station problems and, you know, just general support things. Other than that, when it comes to the actual game itself that people are criticizing, it's feeling like it's a bit boring, the combat being slow, and some people talking trash about the community, saying they've had a bad experience with, which once again, so far I haven't had a bad experience with. And I'm not just talking about obviously when I stream the game and all that and you guys come out and hang out with me on the stream and all that and run through me with the game. I mean just when I'm playing by myself. But yeah, overall there's a lot of things I do agree with, like the account registration problems and the combat being a bit slow, but other than that, everything else that people were complaining about I don't really necessarily agree with. Was this video absolutely pointless to make? I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree with these reviews or if you've had any of the similar experiences to these people. And yeah, I'll see you guys later.